Good day and welcome back to the PharmCook kitchen. Today we're doing something really yummy. We're going to be making a fabulous sauce that's going to be used to go over top of some delicious shrimp. We're making a lime cilantro cream sauce. It's going to be tasty. Welcome back to the PharmCook channel. This is the place where you get to eat well, have fun, and hopefully learn lots, especially about low carb and keto cooking. So now let's get ready and make some dinner. Okay, so today we're going to be making a cilantro lime cream sauce, which is a very quick, it's going to take about 15 minutes to put this dish together. Very basic ingredients. We've got a little bit of butter that we're going to saute a shallot in. Then we're going to add some fresh diced cilantro and some zest and juice of 2 limes, and just season it with salt, and that's going to be the dish, or at least the sauce for the shrimp. The great thing about this sauce is it's useful on fish, on chicken, on vegetables. It works great for a lot of different kinds of things. So I'm going to make up a pretty good sized batch because I know I'm going to use it. It's a great way of getting good fats into your diet and to help you feel like you're full from a relatively small amount of food. So let's get going. We're gonna get the pan going. Gonna add a little bit of butter initially. Maybe a little over a tablespoon. We don't need a huge amount at this point. And this is 1 shallot that's been fine diced. The rest of the ingredients are staged and ready to go. So that's it. We just got to wait for this to come up to temperature, and then we'll start sauteing the shallot in a little bit of butter, and then we'll take it from there. All right, the pan has come up to temperature. We're now the butter's nice and melty. We're gonna drop in the diced shallots, and these guys, because they're so finely chopped, are not gonna take long to come up to temperature and to start to become translucent. We don't want these guys to get any color. We just want them to get moved around the pan, cooked, and starting to break down a little bit of the fat that's in the pan, but we don't really want color. So just trying to take some of the edge off of them, trying to get some of the flavor introduced into the butter in the pan. And we're going to do this for another minute or two, and then we're going to start adding cream. Heavy whipping cream. So this is 1 shallot that's been fine diced. I've got about, I don't know, a little over 3 cups of heavy whipping cream. And what we're going to do is, once the shallots are sauteed to the point where we want them, nice and soft and translucent, then we're going to add the cream, and we're going to turn up the heat on the pan and really get it boiling to try and reduce that cream as much as possible. We're going to go from about, I don't know, maybe 26 ounces down to about half of that. And that what's left is going to be super concentrated and yummy and thick. It's going to have a great texture. And that's something that you need to do if you're trying to make a sauce and you don't want to use any thickeners that have carbs in them to get that good texture. Ordinarily, if you were making this kind of a sauce without respect to keto or low carb diet, what you would do would be to make up a roux to be the thickener for the sauce. But that's not what we're doing. We're just going to use lots of heat and reduce down the cream. And because we want to reduce it, we're going to turn up the heat super high. And I'm using a large pan, and that'll increase the surface area and get it concentrating, getting it evaporating very quickly. So we're going to get this up to temperature, get it boiling, constantly stirring, because we don't want anything burning on the bottom. We want everything to be delicious and a consistent texture. If this were a fine dining kind of thing, and that's not what I do, I don't really care about presentation terribly much, but the shallots that are in here and are going to impart some of their flavor into what becomes the sauce. Once they've done their job, that could be strained out, and so once they're done giving up their flavor, you could remove all the little bits if you wanted to just have this beautiful, silky, smooth sauce at the end. Like I said, I'm not doing that. I don't really care. I don't mind if there's a little bit of a little piece of shallot or a little bit of the cilantro that's in the sauce. In fact, I quite enjoy it. So all we do now is stir and let this come up to a boil and start reducing and keep on stirring. So right now we're very early in the process. This has just started boiling. You can see all of this bubbling that's taking place. That's the cream that is boiling and forcing the water out of solution. And you got to watch it really closely because it can boil over very, very quickly. You also want to make sure that it doesn't burn, so you need to be present and stirring regularly and monitoring the situation, scraping down the sides, trying to make sure you end up with a beautiful, silky, velvety product at the end. So I've adjusted. I went from the highest setting on this burner down to a medium-high setting, and I'm just going to keep stirring and letting the heat boil off the liquid until there's only about half of this volume left. And once we get to that point, then we're going to add some additional flavor. We're going to add the cilantro, we're going to add the lime juice. We don't want to add those too soon because these are beautiful, fresh, vibrant flavors that we want to impart to the sauce. And because there's so much heat going into this right now to try and boil off that excess water, we don't want these flavors in there right now because those volatile flavors they're going to break down with that heat. So we'll reserve that for a bit. So the only seasoning, the only flavor in here right now is a little butter that has some salt in it, the shallots, and the cream. That's it. Haven't added salt even. We're going to let this reduce, going to let it come together, and then we'll start seasoning. We'll start building on this base of flavor. All right, it's been about 5 minutes. You can already see that there's been some reduction. It's hard to tell because of all the foaming and bubbling caused by adding so much heat to this pan, but it's reduced nicely. So I think what I'm going to do now is start the seasoning process. I'm going to add some salt. Need a decent amount because again, the only seasoning in here right now is the salt from the butter. So we're going to mix this in. Turn down the heat a little bit because it's getting pretty excited. And we're just going to keep stirring. One of the things I'm doing while I'm standing here and making sure everything's moving is I'm scraping the edges because there's some of the fat and other milk solids from the cream that as it's cooking will adhere to the sides of the pan. And if you don't do that, it can end up causing lumps in your sauce, which you definitely do not want. So this does require some attention. It's relatively quick and pretty easy to make. It just requires a little bit of time standing in front of the stove. Not a huge amount of prep because there's only a couple of ingredients in this. And the beauty about this dish and what we're ultimately going to be making is that it is relatively quick. You could do this on a weeknight when you're coming home from work and you're wondering, what the heck am I going to make for this meal? But it's so elegant and so delicious, it could work as well beautifully for a date night, as long as your partner speaks the language of cilantro cream. My wife does not. She is not a fan of cilantro. She's one of those people that I think has the genetic predisposition to not want to enjoy cilantro. So I'm going to be the one that enjoys this. So this is reduced very, very nicely. So I think now what I'm going to do is throw in the lime zest and juice. So that's the zest and juice of 2 limes. And that's going to provide this awesome flavor. I mean, lime zest has so much flavor, or any citrus zest has so much flavor. It's just incredible. And a little bit of the juice will help as well, but it's going to provide this beautiful, tangy, citrusy bite to the sauce that allows it to work beautifully with chicken, with fish, with vegetables. Very, very tasty. So this, you can see this is now getting thick. It's bubbling still, but it's not that same sort of foamy look when there was more water that was inside in the cream. And this is telling me now it's time to add the fresh chopped cilantro. So this is, I don't know, maybe a half cup of chopped cilantro. It was a pretty good handful to start off with, but once I started chopping it, it broke down very, very quickly. And what we're going to do now is just incorporate the cilantro into the sauce, get it mixed in. Again, we don't want to do anything that's going to break down those flavors too much from the cilantro, that freshness. But we do want it to, that flavor to get infused into the sauce. So I'm just going to keep stirring. I think it's pretty good right now. Actually going to turn off the heat. Still stirring because there's a lot of heat that's stored in the pan. Keep scraping down the edges. But look at how beautiful this sauce is. And the last step, we're going to finish it with a little bit of fresh, cold butter. So the last step in this process for making the sauce is add just a little bit, I don't know, a couple of pats here and there of cold butter. That's going to help emulsify the sauce and help keep it together and velvety and delicious because, well, it's butter. Again, at this point, oops, the heat is off, but that heat will melt the butter and incorporate it into the sauce. Man, does this look good. Oh my goodness. So thick, so luscious. Just imagine this on top of some beautifully prepared shrimp or chicken or asparagus or I don't know, whatever it is that you like. You could put it on an old flip-flop if you wanted to. Good stuff. And that looks like it is done. All right, now we've got to test, make sure the seasoning is okay. That is really, really yummy. I think it needs a little bit more salt, a little bit of pepper. Get that mixed in and then test again. Just that little bit of seasoning amplifies the flavors. Oh my gosh, so yummy. This is going to be terrific. Awesome sauce. It has cooked the cilantro a little bit, so it's not super. It's not a super prominent flavor. It's very much more mellow. It's not like, you know, a fresh salsa or anything like that. It's very nice. The lime is a bit muted as well, but still present. Very, very delicious. And I can't wait to enjoy this on a little bit of shrimp. All right, so now we're ready for the next part of the process. We've got a couple of very nice looking shrimp. These are just Costco shrimp that I defrosted, and they're ready to go. Just need to be seasoned. And that seasoning is going to be very basic. A little bit of salt, a little bit of fresh pepper, and just a little bit of chipotle. A little bit of flavor, a little bit of something. And want to make sure we get both sides taken care of. We're going to start the pan going, get the pan heated up while we finish seasoning. It's going to be yummy. Can't wait. A little bit of pepper and a little bit of cayenne. Or, sorry, not cayenne, chipotle. Not a lot. We want to make sure we're not blowing out anybody's taste buds. But these guys, let's see, there's 2, 4, 6 of these shrimp. Going to be awesome. We've got our sauce that is set up nicely. We've got a little bit of butter, and that's it. If you were doing this with folks that are enthusiastic about carbs, you could make up some pasta or some rice or something to have the sauce go over top along with the shrimp. But this is going to be tasty. Going to throw in about 2 tablespoons of butter into the pan, get that melting. That's what the shrimp are going to cook in initially, and eventually we're going to add in the sauce and then call it good. Cannot wait. It's going to be super tasty. So let's drop these guys in. You can see the butter is bubbling on the edges of the pan. It's exactly what we're looking for. Got a little bit of a sizzle. Dropping these guys in. And because these are, they're pretty good size shrimp, but they're still relatively small. They won't take long at all to cook. Only a couple of minutes. Turn down the heat a little bit. You can already see they're starting to turn a little bit of color. What we're going to do is flip those guys over. It's been, 30 seconds or so that they've been in the pan? Not long at all. Again, great thing about shrimp, terrific, very lean protein that is very easy to cook rapidly. So now that we got both sides going, it's time to drop in the sauce. And I've got, I don't know, half a cup of the cilantro lime cream sauce here. Just want to get these shrimp cooking in that sauce. Get those guys fully integrated. Get the sauce heated up. And again, it's not going to take very long. Make sure everybody's in the pool. Cannot wait. This is going to be yummy. Can't wait. These guys are almost done. It only takes that little bit of time. I just defrosted these about 15 minutes ago. Just took a couple out of the package, had them sitting in cold water, coming up to temperature. I took off the shell on the tail. This is what we have. Season them up, drop them in the pan. Easy. Easy and quick. So that is it. Heat is off. Just making sure everybody's stirred around. Let's get everybody in the pan. Look at that beautiful sauce. So rich. That is the dish. Not much to it. It's going to be hot. I'm probably going to have this. I'm going to have this with some roasted cauliflower. But just for now, I'm going to try this as is. Still very, very hot. That sauce is so yummy. Pairs beautifully with the shrimp. A little bit of salt from the shrimp on the outside. A little bit of just in the back of the chipotle powder. Absolutely spectacular. Give this a shot. This is an awesome dish. Again, works great for coming home from work. You're really busy during the day. Don't have a lot of time to cook. You can make this. Or it could be a date night cook. It doesn't matter. It comes together very, very quickly, very easily. You can make this. Happy dining.